How is everybody doing today? Welcome back to another episode of The Banker Next Door. I am your host, Dr. Joe Berquist. So today we're continuing our crypto series with part 12, and we're going to get into a couple of things here today. We're going to talk about Tether, basically in trouble with regulators on some potential anti-money laundering issues. And I'm going to give just a tad bit of crypto news. And then we're also going to look at two situations that I had previously reported on, one in a prior crypto series episode on Customers Bancorp, and then one in I think I just did maybe on the weekly live stream show where I talked about Provident Bancorp and some of the things that they've been doing with crypto miners. So let me just read this kind of little synopsis here of a couple of these different things going on right now, and then we're going to look at a couple of quick articles here about these, just so I can kind of keep everybody up to date with what's happening here. So federal officials are investigating cryptocurrency firm Tether for possible violations of sanctions and anti-money laundering rules, the Wall Street Journal reported, citing people familiar with the matter. The Manhattan U.S. Attorney's Office is conducting a criminal investigation to determine if third parties used the cryptocurrency for illegal activities, including drug trafficking, terrorism, and hacking, or for laundering the proceeds from such activities. Concurrently, the Treasury Department is reportedly contemplating sanctions against Tether due to its cryptocurrency being widely used by U.S. sanctioned individuals and groups such as Hamas and Russian arms dealers. So number one, as everybody knows from episodes that I have reported on, basically this whole BSA, Bank Secrecy Act, AML, anti-money laundering, these two things are major hot button issues. TD Bank just got a major busted. They had to plead guilty, pay like a $3 billion fine. And those issues are gonna dog TD Bank for quite some time. And so the whole BSA AML violation issues is a huge issue in the banking industry. It's a real hot button topic for bank regulators. They are all over a lot of banks, and is it any wonder that they're now looking at Tether, the largest stablecoin operator, and basically saying like, hey, are there some things going on there? And this also plays into kind of what happened to Customers Bancorp as well, because in their digital assets, it was the same thing. It was the anti-money laundering aspect of this, the BSA aspect of it, where they basically said, did you allow some bad actors to come in here and process transactions for illicit activities through your bank? And that's what's gotten Customers Bank in some hot water there as well. So let's go on there. So West Reading, Pennsylvania-based Customers Bancorp has a tremendous amount of work to do over the next couple of months after it received an enforcement action from the Federal Reserve, according to its top executive. And we'll take a look at that in a minute. Provident Bancorp is facing SEC action over potential federal securities law violations related to disclosures regarding loans that the bank made to companies engaged in the mining of cryptocurrency. The company on October 24th received a Wells notice from SEC's regional office in Boston, indicating that the staff's preliminary determination could lead to an enforcement action seeking remedies such as an injunction and civil money penalties. And we'll look at an article on that. And then I just wanted to give this little bit of news here. So Robinhood Markets, everybody knows the Robinhood app, Kraken, which is a crypto exchange, and Galaxy Digital Holdings are among a consortium of financial technology and cryptocurrency companies that teamed up to launch the Global Dollar Network to increase stablecoin adoption worldwide. So I will be doing more analysis, or like I should say, I'll be doing a little bit more research on that topic to see if I can bring you guys that in a further, another crypto episode here down the road. But let's go in and let's take a look at some quick articles here. I'll tell you what, before we get to Tether, let's start with the Customers Bancorp thing. So Customers Bancorp has tremendous amount of work ahead after enforcement action. So West Reading, PA-based Customers Bancorp has a tremendous amount of work to do over the next couple of months after it received an enforcement action from the Federal Reserve, according to its top executives. The company is really committed to that work. President Sam Sidhu said during a call to discuss third quarter earnings, the action and a written agreement, which the Fed levied in August, were related to risk management and anti-money laundering compliance. Most of the efforts to address an enforcement action are finished within the first year. It crests down, and then you kind of have to move to sustainability. Sadhu said it usually takes another 2 years for the order to be lifted. So he's looking at basically a 3-year process here. Subsidiary Customers Bank in August named a chief compliance and anti-money laundering officer. Sadhu said during the call that the company is working on technology initiatives along with hiring executives. Meanwhile, Customers is continuing its digital asset business and CBIT token, which it considers to be part of its payments business. And again, you can go back and look at my crypto episode. It was called, what's going on with Customers Bank. You can go back and take a look at that if you want to get more of the in-depth story on this. But basically, Customers got put under an enforcement action, a written enforcement action by the federal regulators, and they were basically ordered. They had to go hire a third party, an independent third party, to come in and basically review what they described as their digital assets business, which consisted of a CBIT token, depository accounts, things of that nature, the exchanging of cryptocurrencies and things in and out of the bank. And the real question there was, did they work with basically people that they shouldn't have worked with? Were there some bad actors that basically ran through some bad transactions, using their token and their platform, so to speak, to do some of this stuff. So, and I don't know, I feel like, their CEO is kind of trying to put a good face on this, and he's trying to be positive and upbeat and try this, but a lot of this is really going to hinge on what that third party comes back with. What is that third party going to have to say about this? And that is really going to determine how either basically good or bad this is. And I look at this is, just again, my kind of personal opinion, my kind of take on this is that, this is why, I don't think banks should be getting involved with cryptocurrency and crypto assets, because it's good. You're asking for trouble right now. You're asking for you're bringing a lot of problems onto the bank that you don't really need to be bringing onto the bank at this. I mean, the bank's got enough problems with just dealing about, raising capital and credit quality and operational risk and credit risk and interest rate risk and all this other stuff. Whole mess of new regulation coming down the pike. I mean, so, banks have enough to worry about with worrying about being in a line of business that's going to bring just added scrutiny to you. So, but anyway. All right, and then let's take a look real quick here at, Provident Bancorp gets a Wells notice over loans to cryptocurrency mining firms. So Massachusetts-based Provident Bancorp received a Wells notice from the U.S. SEC claiming potential violations of federal securities law related to disclosures regarding loans the company made to companies engaged in the mining of cryptocurrency. Providence ceased originating new loans in this line of business as of October 2022, according to a regulatory filing. That's kind of interesting timing, because what happened throughout the entire summer of 2020, I reported on that in an earlier crypto episode. That was basically that 2022 was the implosion of the crypto business model. The crypto businesses, the Terra USD stablecoin imploded, which then led to the failure of about 17 different crypto firms. Genesis, Gemini, BlockFi, Voyager, just to name a few. And then obviously in late October, early November of 2022, we saw the implosion of FTX with Sam Bankman-Fried. So Terra USD kicked it off. A bunch of firms failed, and then it led in the culmination of the implosion of FTX in October of 2022. So is it any wonder that they stopped making these loans right around that period of time? The Wells notice was served by the Boston regional office of the agency on October 24th, indicating that the SEC staff recommendation to the commission may include a civil injunction action or other legal action, and may seek remedies such as injunction, disgorgement, prejudgment interest, civil money penalties, and such other relief, according to the filing. The notice is not an official allegation or finding of wrongdoing, the company said in the filing, added that it intends to pursue the Wells notice process which will include an opportunity to respond to the staff's position through a Wells submission. Provident disclosed that it began receiving voluntary requests from the SEC staff shortly after it reported a material weakness in its financial controls in January of 2023. The company has been cooperating with the staff's ongoing voluntary requests. The potential costs, timing, and consequences of any enforcement action remain uncertain, the filing said. So I think the interesting thing here is that Provident Bank, like they basically said that they have kind of stopped lending in this line of business. They've kind of gotten out of this. So anything that they're looking at is, nothing's really happened here in almost the last 2 years. And it's probably, and, they're just looking back on, some existing loans that are kind of lingering around there. So it'll be interesting to see what, if anything, the SEC comes back with on this. I mean, my guess is, maybe not much really happens if they just have a couple loans lingering around. I mean, they could always, basically go back to those customers and say, hey guys, you need to go find another bank for this. Or the loans could get paid off, or, whatever the case may be. But as long as they're not adding anything new to it, I'm sure it's probably a very manageable situation. And again, these are loans to companies that mine for cryptocurrency. They're not selling cryptocurrency. They're not doing cryptocurrency exchanges. These are companies with basically that probably have a ton of servers and are just using those servers to mine for Bitcoin. And then, once they have the Bitcoin and, probably selling it out to, or using an exchange to, sell the Bitcoin out, or whatever they might be doing. But it's a different line of business other than, again, you're selling different cryptocurrencies. So it's not quite that. So, like I said, we'll have to keep an eye on this and see what happens. And then finally here, we have the federal investigators probe cryptocurrency firm Tether. Authorities looking at possible violations of anti-money laundering and sanctions rules. The federal government is investigating cryptocurrency company Tether for possible violations of sanctions and anti-money laundering rules, according to people familiar with the matter. The criminal investigation run by prosecutors at the Manhattan U.S. Attorney's Office is looking at whether the cryptocurrency has been used by third parties to fund illegal activities such as the drug trade, terrorism, and hacking, or launder the proceeds generated by them. The Treasury Department, meanwhile, has been considering sanctioning Tether because of its cryptocurrency's widespread use by individuals and groups sanctioned by the U.S., including the terrorist group Hamas and Russian arms dealers. Sanctions against Tether would generally prohibit Americans from doing business with the company. Tether and its cryptocurrency, also called Tether, have been a matter of growing concern for federal regulators and law enforcement. Unlike more volatile cryptocurrencies, Tether's value is pegged to the dollar, making it an ideal substitute in places where use of the U.S. currency has been banned by U.S. regulators. Tether is the world's most traded cryptocurrency, with as much as 190 billion changing hands each day. It is also a vital financing tool for several of the U.S.'s top national security concerns. These include the North Korean nuclear weapons program, Mexican drug cartels, Russian arms companies, Middle Eastern terrorist groups, and Chinese manufacturers of chemicals used to make fentanyl, the Wall Street Journal has previously reported. The Justice Department began an investigation into Tether several years ago, initially looking at whether some of Tether's backers committed bank fraud by using falsified documents to get access to the global banking system, according to people familiar with that case. Tether said it had no indication the company is facing a broader investigation. To suggest that Tether is somehow involved in aiding criminal actors or sidestepping sanctions is outrageous, the company said. We work actively with U.S. and international law enforcement to combat illicit activities, as we publicly demonstrated many times. Tether has stepped up its efforts to control how the cryptocurrency is used. Tether executives have said that the public nature of the ledgers used to track many Tether transfers makes it unsuitable for criminality and enhances authorities' ability to surveil and potentially seize it from bad actors. U.S. prosecutors have taken on some of the crypto industry's biggest players in recent years. Binance founder Changpeng Zhao was sentenced to 4 months in prison in April, and the company fined $4.3 billion for violating anti-money laundering requirements. Tether ran into regulatory trouble several years ago when it paid $61 million to resolve investigations by the state of New York and the Commodity Futures Trading Commission that found the company had misrepresented the assets that backed its cryptocurrency. And that's pretty much the end of it from there. So Again, it's just very interesting. I mean, these probes continue, but it's kind of like yeah, it's a very interesting situation because while the U.S. government is, I believe, correct in pointing out that Tether is being used to transfer and carry out a lot of this illicit activity in a lot of bad countries around the world. The dirty little secret is that the U.S. government is also using Tether to do its own dealings with bad actors around the world. That is also true. So this is why you've seen, kind of regulators play this kind of pussyfooting, if you will, around the issue of regulating stable coins and cryptocurrency, because they gotta tread. They've been talking about it for the last 3 years about how we're gonna regulate, we're gonna do this, and we're gonna do that, and we're gonna do everything. But it's a messed up dance, right? Because on the one hand, it's like you see the value of new technology. You don't want to stifle innovation. You don't want to necessarily stop a lot of this, but then you also see that it's being used to finance a lot of bad stuff around the world with a lot of bad countries and bad actors involved in the mix. But the U.S. government also has its needs for it to do certain things that it may not want to have on the books, so to speak. So, and if you regulate basically if you really come down hard on Tether and you really regulate it, the government, that's going to hurt the government because they're not going to be able to use it for the things that they want to use it for, because then it'll get found out, or Tether might report it if they feel like the government is being too hard. Remember, Tether's got some cards to play here. They can, the regulators got to be very careful about how hard they come down, because I'm sure Tether's got some information that they could leak out that would, give some people in the government a bad day. And again, I have no insider information on that. I'm just saying, I just think that there's some things there that are going on that maybe not as obvious to some people as to what is really happening there. So, but again, we'll see what happens as these situations unfold. I mean, I like I said, I do think we do need regulation around stable coins and cryptocurrency. We do need to try to, again, I don't think stable coin or cryptocurrency is going anywhere. I think it's here to stay, but we have to make it. We have to get enough regulation in place where we're not stifling innovation, but we're also making it safe for consumers to use, and we can also at least have a very strong idea that a lot of these bad actors are not using this stuff. So, but we'll see. But we'll see what happens. But again, I hope everybody enjoyed this latest crypto episode here, and I will continue to bring more episodes in this crypto series as we get more news and more things continue to unfold. And with that, I will wrap up. So if you like this episode, please make sure to like, share, and subscribe, as that always helps the channel. Remember, we are on YouTube, Rumble, and all major podcast platforms. Please be sure to leave your comments down below, as I love getting back to everybody. Check out some of the other content on the channel. And remember, tomorrow night, I will be doing the BND Strategy Room live stream. This week, I moved from Friday to Saturday night as we, kind of continue to tweak things here at the channel and make different adjustments and try different things out. Like I said, we did Friday night for a little while. Now I want to kind of do Saturday night for a little while and just experiment a little bit until we kind of find what is the optimum time for everybody. And so I'm kind of shifting the production schedule a little bit. And like I said, I'll talk about that a lot more on the live stream if you want to tune in. But like I said, Saturday night, 8:00, YouTube. Be there, check out the strategy room, and I hope to see everybody there. But until then, have a great day out there, and I will talk to everybody again real soon. Thanks.